Beautiful. All right. I think we're good. I think we're okay. Let's welcome everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I am Tobias Josephson. All right, my friends. So I am Tobias Josephson. This is the Brotherhood of Male Witches, 7 p.m. live stream, class 2 of a 4-part workshop series. We are a social media platform group, Brotherhood of the Male Witches. We are about 13,000 individuals strong, give or take, all practicers. All right. And I am one of the leadership individuals there. So without further ado, hope you all are having a beautiful Saturday out there in YouTube world. Let's get started. So right off the bat, my friends, containment is not suppression. What do you mean, Tobias? Containment is actually controlling yourselves under pressure, under multi-omnipresent things going on, meaning you have noises, you have lights, you have individuals, you have things you have to think about, etc. Most men have never trained for that, especially when it comes to ritual work and stuff like that. Tonight, we are talking about spring restlessness. Every spring, everybody's dying to get out and burst forth. All right. We've been stuck inside all winter and we're just sick and tired of it. All right. It's a common thing. It happens a lot. So, tonight, once again, we are talking about spring restlessness. Okay. And why most magical men destabilize when their energy rises. Most times, often though, when they're a new hat or a new broom, occasionally it does happen otherwise. Okay, so it deserves some discussion, it deserves some engagement tonight. So let's continue. Every March, something happens, and it doesn't have to be March. That's just the example we're going to use here. Whatever month it is when it starts getting warmer this year. It could be March, it could be April, it could be as far as May, it could be next week, we don't know. Okay. But every spring, something seems to happen in the metaphysical world. Energy rises, motivation spikes. People, like I said, are getting out of the house more. You know, the snow is melting, the ice is melting, the days are warmer, you have more light to work with, you have more energy. So you're going to have logically energy spikes. All right. But a lot of people don't talk about having the energy spikes. All right. And what sometimes happens in the confusion if you're a practicer. So every spring, something happens. Energy rises, motivation spikes, ideas multiply all over the place, just like the bunnies in the meadows in the spring. And impulses seem to increase everywhere we look. And it's not just on social media. You can look at the news and stuff and see it playing out in real time. And structure gets tested. That's the point. Your life's structure gets tested because for a few months you've had to accolade to being less active. You've had to accolade to doing less. All right. Your body has responded with less light, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So here's an important first engagement question that's going to push the boundary. So bear with me, my friends. When your energy increases in your practice, does your discipline increase with it? What does that mean? Okay. Let's say it again. When your energy increases, does your discipline increase with it? So feel free to comment below, my friends. It is your nervous system that is activating, meeting untrained containment. So what we mean is, like, during the winter months and stuff, you have long periods of time where you're by yourself. You have long periods of time where you're not doing anything. Your brain, your mind, your body gets restless, okay? Things start happening internally. It's your nervous system reactivating after kind of coming out of a hibernation mode, like your computer will be, like your phone goes into when you want it to. All right. And it's kind of like when you're coming back online, there's going to be a little bit of confusion sometimes metaphysically inside you. And we're here to educate you and give you some tips tonight on what you can possibly do to pull yourself back into a containment mindset. Okay. So, how many projects have you started in the last 90 days? I'll give you guys some answers to that question because I don't think we have anyone in here right now. So, for me, myself, in the last 90 days, I'm doing two. Okay. But I try to keep it to no more than three. That's a general rule for me as a practitioner. You don't get too tired, you don't get too busy, you don't get too lonely, you don't get too upset. You have to keep yourself in a constant flux, making sure you are as close to balance as possible. All right. If you look at the magician symbol in the tarot, you will see, all right, that it looks like an eight that is fell on its side, and that is just the infinity symbol, meaning everything has an ebb and a flow, a positive and a negative, and the closer you are to that balance, the better off you are. It's true for the universe, it's true for nature, it's true for humans, it's true for how we act. That's why we're affected by the moon phases. So I won't get too deep tonight. How many of you finish? So if you're somebody who starts a lot of projects, all right, and then something else inspires you, so now you put it back there. Now you have two things going. Something else over there has got your attention. So now you have three fires going. Before you know it, you have 5 to 10 or more. All right. And now you're overwhelmed. Now you're really stagnant. Now you're really getting depressed in your practice. All right. Now you're really searching for inspiration. All right. And so we're going to try to help you out here tonight. When energy rises, your sleep shift, your thoughts shift, your focus shifts, your internal energy shifts, all of it. Impulse control drops, symbol fascination increases. Escalation then feels what? It feels justified. Okay? Intensity feels productive, right? And that's why it gets confusing. All right, you've been sitting around so long on your butt, all right, that once spring comes, you're ready to get out there and run, right? All right, and you got your feet on the ground. You've got to remember you can speed walk, but you don't need to run. You're going to trip yourself up. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to make a magical mistake. And then you're going to be FAFO, fuck around, find out. Okay. And then you're going to be talking to a witch practitioner like myself, okay, asking for advices. So we'd rather get up here and educate on responsibility and ethics. How are we doing tonight, YouTube universe? I hope you are all well. Intensity feels productive. Escalation without structure is collapse in slow motion, point blank. There's no other way to put that, okay? Have you ever mistaken emotional intensity for spiritual advancement? And I'll say that again slower. Have you ever accidentally mistaken emotional intensity for spiritual advancement? All right. If you have, comment down below and I'll review if there's any comments by the end of this live stream. Answer that honestly, folks. One thing we do take pride on here at Brotherhood of Male Witches is that we want to treat you like family, like Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family, okay? So answer honestly. We don't criticize anybody in this room. We don't condescend. We don't treat you in contempt. It is truly love and light in this room, okay? And so answer that honestly. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Pressure reveals structure. It doesn't create it. When stress hits your life, do you ritualize it more or do you ritualize it less? Answer below. When stress hits your life, practitioners, brothers of Brotherhood of the Male Witches, do you ritualize less or do you ritualize more? Are you seeking relief in your practicing or are you seeking alignment in your practicing your ritual and your spell work? Containment looks boring to some. Containment looks repetitive, but containment looks disciplined also. Containment is a discipline, and you can't practice magic if you can't grasp discipline, but it will survive. Masculine containment is not emotional shutdown, it is emotional regulation under activation. I'll say that again for you guys. Masculine containment is not emotional shutdown. It is simply emotional regulation under activation. For the next 7 days, if you choose, no new rituals, no new symbolic escalations. Track your sleep with a journal if you want. Grab a notebook at Walmart. Track your emotional spikes for the next 7 days. If you find that your power cannot survive structure, then you will know you have proof that it isn't power. If your power cannot survive structure, it isn't power. And in closing this evening, warmer weather, springtime, does not necessarily destabilize disciplined men in practices. But what it will do, it will expose destabilized and undisciplined ones. Containment precedes power. Not sometimes, always. Okay? So, as we go through this, masculine containment is not emotional shutdown. Questions for you guys to take away tonight. Have you ever mistaken emotional intensity for spiritual advancement? Answer that honestly. And the other question is, when stress hits your life out of the blue, do you ritualize more or do you ritualize less? And lastly, when you're doing your ritual work, are you seeking relief? Are you seeking activation? Or are you using the discipline and practicing for realignment? Do you escalate symbols for inspiration? or do you regulate your behavior in your practice? Okay? And so tonight we were talking about spring restlessness, some of the psychosomatic things that happen internally, some of the emotional turmoil that gets mixed up with our energies as springtime hits, and what we can do about them and what we can do for them. Gave you guys a couple of questions to ask yourselves in the meantime and reflect on them if you will. Remember that this framework will not be for everybody, and that this is a structural educational workshop, and this is part 2 of part 4. And this is the Brotherhood of Male Witches educational workshop series. And this is where it will be going forward. So have yourselves a beautiful and blessed evening. I am Tobias Josephson. I am one of the leaders there and one of the founders there. We welcome everybody there with open arms. Thank you so much for having us, my friends. It has been completely our honor once again. Thank you for tuning in. We will check you guys out tomorrow night when we escalate another topic and we dive deep into it and we continue our Containment Precedes Power workshop. I am Tobias Josephson. I bid you guys the best evening possible. Have yourselves a great evening.